Good evening and welcome to the April 1st Council meeting. If you would please stand, Councilman Lucio will lead us in the flag salute.
Please put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Our first proclamation is for Arbor Day, which is April 4th. I'd like to call up Steve Lewis, president of the Chino Youth Museum, and what did I say? Oh, I thought I did. And Sal Parra, public works supervisor with the city of Chino. I thought I had a brain fade or something.
You've known me for a while.
I know, a long time. Proclamation reads, whereas in 1872, the first Arbor Day in the United States was held with over 1 million trees planted in Nebraska. The National Arbor Day Foundation celebrates Arbor Day in April. And the city of Chino has been recognized for over 30 years as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation. Trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. Trees can reduce wind and water erosion, cut heating and cooling costs, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. Trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, and fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas, through the cooperation of the residents of the city of Chino and community groups, the benefits of planting trees and proper conservation practices can be passed on in an enduring heritage of vital natural resources to the citizens of Chino. Now, therefore, I, Eunice Emilova, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim April 4th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the City of Chino, and encourage each citizen to observe this day by planting one or more trees and by participating in the First Friday activities at the Chino Youth Museum courtyard to learn more about the importance of Arbor Day. Steve?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. I just want to say that we're going to have a First Friday event this on 6th and D Street at the Chino Youth Museum, so all the kids can come for free from 3 to 5. They get to plant a tree and bring it home with them so they could plant it and get more and more trees here in the city. And I just want to say I'm with Nancy Lewis, our new vice president, and CPRS District 11 winner last week. So, and then also we need to know a little bit more about trees. I don't know as much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, trees are so important to our city. The list goes on and on. The resources and the benefits that they provide to our city are just endless. The city has over 20,000 trees, and with the help of city and contracted staff, we're able to maintain those trees year after year. Madam Mayor, members of the council, Dr. Reich, and all the directors to the departments, we just want to say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity and all your support year after year. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Autism Awareness Month. I'd like to call up Clara Garcia, Director of Programs, Autism Society, Inland Empire, Felicia Guzman, CEO and founder of Adrian's World Incorporated, and Ted Bistarkey, our Community Services Parks and Recreation Manager. And this proclamation reads, where's Ted? There you are. Whereas autism is a lifelong neurological disorder, with current statistics bringing it to 1 in 36 children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder in the United States. The prevalence of autism spectrum disorder in California is 1 in 22. Whereas autism affects each individual in different ways and can range from very mild to severe, knows no racial, ethnic, or social boundaries, and affects young and old alike in the city of Chino. Our understanding of autism has grown tremendously since it was first diagnosed. There is no cure for autism. Accurate early diagnosis and the resulting appropriate education and intervention are vital to the future growth and development of the individual. Hope lies in a broad spectrum of treatments and in an informed public and community committed to providing support and service to individuals diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. The Autism Society Inland Empire has been serving the Inland Empire for over 37 years, and their mission is to create connections empowering everyone in the autism community with the resources needed to live fully. Now, therefore, I, Eunice Loa, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Autism Awareness Month in the City of Chino and encourage all citizens to join the effort to raise awareness of autism.
On behalf of the Autism Society, we truly thank you. I think Chino is a very inclusive city. I've had the privilege of training some of the parks and recs and have had a lot of programs and been working besides Adrian's World as well. So thank you all very much.
I also would like to thank the City of Chino. Thank you for setting the standard so high of what acceptance and inclusion, love and support really looks like. I would love to thank Chino PD, Chino Police Association. Thank you for your support. We truly appreciate it, and it's necessary and it's needed, and our families feel it. So thank you.
And I'd also like to add, at our Chino Youth Museum, we do have a variety of sensory experiences throughout the exhibit. So come by the museum Wednesday through Saturday from 10 to 4, or visit it at chinoyouthmuseum.com.
Thank you all for being here. I know this is a growing problem with our society, and we need to learn how to work with people with autism and be sensitive to their needs. Thank you for being here. Next is Child Abuse Prevention Month. I'd like to call up Jonathan Byers, Assistant Director of Children's Network, and Michelle Meza, Community Services Parks and Recreation Coordinator. Whereas April 2025 has been designated as Child Abuse Prevention Month by county, state, and federal governments for the purpose of promoting community involvement in preventing child abuse. The City of Chino, Chino Valley Unified School District, and County of San Bernardino believe all children have the right to receive the care, protection, and guidance a family provides, to be free from harm, and to have their physical, emotional, and educational needs met. Last year, approximately 500,000 children experienced abuse or neglect in the United States. In San Bernardino County, over 32,000 referrals for suspected abuse or neglect were made. The Adverse Child Experience, or ACE, study demonstrates long-term health, social, and economic risks that result from childhood trauma. The prevention of child abuse requires vigorous solutions, energy, strength, determination, and commitment from concerned citizens and the entire community. The City of Chino, Chino Valley Unified School District, and the County of San Bernardino provide services and professionals in the field of child abuse who are dedicated, compassionate, and skilled in the prevention of child abuse. Child abuse and neglect can be reduced by ensuring each family has the support they need to raise their children in a healthy environment. And whereas the City of Chino recognizes the blue ribbon as the international symbol for child abuse prevention, Children's Network is facilitating several training opportunities, and the 26th annual Shine a Light on Child Abuse Prevention Awards ceremony to create awareness about child abuse prevention in the month of April. Now, therefore, I, Eunice Loa, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the City of Chino and encourage all citizens to join the effort to end child abuse.
Thank you, Mayor Ulloa and members of the council for your continued support. I think we can all agree that child abuse is a difficult topic, and we never want to think too long about a child being harmed or having their health and safety at risk. But today we're here to focus on the prevention piece of this proclamation. Here at Chino Human Services, we offer support services to parents and their children to be able to provide them with the tools and resources to navigate their challenging times. In many cases, child abuse is related to poverty, it can be related to mental health issues, substance use, and child disability. So here at Chino Human Services, we're committed to walking alongside parents as they support their children and providing them with the right tools. During this month, I'd like to encourage everyone in the community to report suspicions of child abuse. and to connect families to support services here at Chino Human Services as they see fit. Today we have Jonathan Byers here from Children and Family Services to accept this proclamation.
So thank you very much, Mayor Uloa, Mayor Pro Tem Burton, and City Council members for declaring April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Chino. It's an honor for me to accept this proclamation on behalf of Children and Family Services in San Bernardino County and our partner, the Children's Network. Healthy communities help families provide safe homes for children. So beyond just acknowledging Child Abuse Prevention Month, this city, and I think the City Council do a lot of good work to prevent child abuse and neglect. It may not always be obvious to the members of this community, but we know that you help families provide safe homes for children through your Chino Cares initiative, through your after-school programs, your Hope Resource Centers, your affordable housing program, the programs for children and families through Parks and Recreation, the counseling and resources you make available through Chino Human Services, and through your relationships with countless other community partners. So these are the things that a city does to address the complex economic, environmental, and social factors that lead to child abuse and neglect. And I think the data indicates that what you're doing is working. As the mayor mentioned, our county last year received over 32,000 reports of child abuse or neglect. Only 2.5% of those reports involved children from this city. So we are grateful that the City Council is taking the time to raise awareness about child maltreatment and the importance of prevention. And we believe that this proclamation represents the community here in Chino that does something meaningful every day to prevent child abuse and neglect. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
For many years, we've had a program called Focus on Youth, and we were also awarded 100 Best Communities to Raise Kids for several years. So we put a lot of emphasis on our kids, but it's well worth it. We know that. Thank you for being here. Wait a minute, just get a picture. You can't run away. Oh, next we're going to have a special presentation. I'd like to call up Chief Kevin Menson from our police department.
Thank you, Mayor. So on March 12th, we had our annual department award ceremony where we announced and honored our 2024 Volunteer of the Year, our Professional Staff Member of the Year, and our Police Officer of the Year. So our Volunteer of the Year was Explorer Emma Rivera. Come on up, Emma. Our Professional Staff Member of the Year was Police Dispatcher Jennifer Latham. Coming up, Jennifer. And our Officer of the Year was Officer Parwais Husseinian. So I'm going to start first with Emma. So Emma is a police explorer with us. She is a captain to our Explorer program. This is our future of the Chino Police Department right here. So during last year, she volunteered over 350 hours to our community. And this is working events such as the Christmas parade, the corn feed run, all different events to get all these hours. She, on top of that, she maintained a 3.7 GPA. She's a member of the Debate Club, the National Honor Society, the Campus Ministry, and tutoring, providing her to her fellow explorers. So Emma's done a great addition as far as exploring. Like I said, this is the future of the Chino Police Department right here. So congratulations, Emma. And then Jennifer's been with our department for quite some time. She's one of our veteran dispatchers. And being a dispatcher is one of the most challenging jobs in our profession. And it's why it's one of the most difficult jobs for us to hire for. And because it is the ultimate having to multitask. And so Jennifer, obviously with the amount of experience that she has for the number of years, but she's also taken an expertise. We have a real-time crime center. We have crime analysts assigned to our real-time crime center. That is not operationally 24 hours a day. When there's no analysts working, really Jennifer's doing pretty close to a lot of the same stuff that our analysts are doing. So she's learned the technology, she's learned how to use the cameras. There was an incident where a suspect, a mentally deranged person, came into the lobby of our police department holding a butcher knife. Jennifer immediately recognized that on the camera, started dispatching officers, and able to get him to surrender and for a successful conclusion. And it was really because of Jennifer recognizing this immediately through the cameras and the use of this technology. So very well deserved by Jennifer. And then Officer Husseinian. So we talk about what separates our community and why our community remains safe compared maybe to some of the other surrounding cities. And that is because of really our officers and the proactive policing. And so Officer Husseinian, he's assigned to swing shift graveyard. So when we're all home sleeping, he's out patrolling the streets, making sure that they're safe. And he takes it upon himself. He's not just sitting there waiting for the call to come in. When he has free time, he's out there stopping people that really, at 2 in the morning, who's driving around? Either newspaper delivery persons, somebody going to work, or a lot of it is criminals. And so Officer Husseini, he's intrigued. He will go out and make these stops and really keeping us safe in the middle of the night for these people coming in and trying to victimize our community. So that's why he was awarded the Officer of the Year for last year. So we are very proud of all three of them and the work that they do. I mean, these are tough decisions when we're having to make these works. There's a lot of other members of the Chino Police Department that are obviously doing some very good work. But thank you, Mayor. Thank you to the council for recognizing them here this evening.
It's our pleasure. We're so proud of everything that you do. Of course, we have the best PD in California. We know that. Okay, let's get a picture. Wait. You have to get a picture. Thank you very much. And last, we have our Business of the Month, April 2025. Our April Business of the Month has operated in our city for nearly 50 years. For the month of April, we would like to recognize Christian Printing Service as our Business of the Month. Due to scheduling, Manager David Cockrell and his staff were unable to accept the award in person. However, we still want to take a moment to recognize a business that has called Chino home since 1979. Christian Printing is a full-service printing company that specializes in exceptional customer service. One customer praised the company for their outstanding quality and quick turnaround. On multiple occasions, city staff have worked with David and his team for promotional items. Our local businesses never shy away from supporting the city of Chino community. In their 46 years in business, Christian Printing has donated time and money to local charities, youth groups, and individuals in need of assistance. Christian Printing Service also works with fellow local businesses to accommodate their clients' needs and on occasion referring clients to them. Manager David Cockrell still wanted to send a message in his absence saying, quote, "We love having our business in Chino because it's a city we feel is safe and supports its local businesses. We have had a long-standing working relationship with the city government and would like to take this opportunity to thank the city for that business and also thank you for this award," unquote. Join me in congratulating Christian Printing Service for being our April 2025 Business of the Month. Their award will be delivered to them following the council meeting. Let's give them a hand. And also, if you operate or know of a business in the community you would like to nominate for a future Business of the Month, please go to the City of Chino website to make your nomination today. We appreciate all of our businesses and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Okay, we have one more presentation, and that is San Antonio Regional Hospital. I'd like to call up Heather Raymond, Chief Marketing and Communications Officer from San Antonio Regional Hospital. She's going to provide a presentation.
Mayor, council members, thank you so much for allowing me some time to talk with you about the state of healthcare in our region. We're trying to reach out to all of the cities in our service area and our secondary service area just to give you an update and then let you know what we're doing at San Antonio Regional Hospital to address some of those issues that we're facing. So with that, California in general is really facing what we call a hospital crisis. There's been an extreme inflation in growth. It's more than doubled our Medicare inpatient population. The inflation has been nearly 13%. Compare that with the cumulative Medicaid and Medicare underpayments to the tune of about $522 billion is what we're looking at over California in underpayments to hospitals. So there's a financial crisis. Next slide. So labor, we're looking at a hospital crisis in general when it comes to hospital stability. Our labor is obviously the largest amount and percentage of our hospital expenses, but we're also facing a large expense when it comes to seismic compliance. That's a huge one. By 2030, we have to be seismically compliant, and many hospitals are facing issues when it comes to that. Upgrading our technology, infrastructure, and absolutely cybersecurity has been a huge issue in hospitals, and you've probably heard some of that in the news recently. Wage rates across all hospitals in California has jumped nearly 10.1% in 2023, but as you know, minimum wage is going up. We have already faced that at San Antonio Regional Hospital and upped our minimum wage to $25. So that has definitely made an impact on the hospitals in general in California. Access has definitely also been an issue. After COVID, during COVID, many people were not getting the care that they needed. So since COVID, and this will be compiled for years, there have been access issues. So we are facing in our ED, our emergency room was built at San Antonio Regional Hospital to accommodate about 75,000 people per year. This year or last year, we accommodated about 95, and we're on trajectory to do over 100,000 ED visits this year. So access is definitely an issue. And then, of course, as always, we're facing the shortages in drug shortages, and then there's the prices that are just out of control. Our workforce, incredibly, has really faced some challenges. Nursing enrollment in baccalaureate nursing programs has gone up ever so slightly, 0.3% in 2023, the latest data that we have. But enrollment in PhD and master's nursing programs decreased by 3.1% respectively. However, this is the shocking statistic. U.S. nursing schools turned away almost 66,000 qualified applications because they didn't have a sufficient number of clinical sites, faculty, preceptors, people to help these students. So we have people who want to become qualified nurses, but we don't have the people to train them. And the vacancy rate for nurses in general in California was around 7.8%, so just under 8%. I will tell you that at San Antonio Regional Hospital, and I'll talk about this a little bit more later, some of the things that we're doing, but we are partnering to be creative on nursing programs with the Claremont Colleges and University of Laverne so that we can create a pipeline for nurses to stay in the Inland Empire. So we're hoping that will be successful in the Inland Empire in the years to come. This one's really alarming. Projected shortfall of primary care physicians. Statewide, there's a demand for the number of people that live in the state. We need about 40,000 primary care physicians. Our supply is at around 34,900, so that's a shortage of nearly 12%. And if you look down toward the second to the last, Los Angeles, Orange County, and the Inland Empire, we need about 17,000, just a little over 17,000 primary care alone, and we're at a shortage of nearly 13%. So it's really difficult to get primary care physicians to want to stay in the Inland Empire. And we're really excited to announce that San Antonio Regional Hospital, I'll speak about this again in a little bit, we are going to have our first residency program. We start in July, our first 10 students. Our hope is that they will see the work that we do at San Antonio Regional Hospital. They'll feel indebted to us, they'll feel indebted to the community, and they will stick around in the Inland Empire. So that is our first foray in a residency program starting this year, and we're really excited about that. Next, I'd like to talk about behavioral health. We all know behavioral health is an issue in general, but as you can see, we project by 2028 just a steady decline every year of qualified behavioral health places for people to go and resources of psychiatrists and psychologists is just dwindling, and especially in the Inland Empire. So we are looking for partner locations where we can open behavioral health urgent cares. Now, this wouldn't be an inpatient scenario, but this would be a, hey, I'm short on my medication and my physician's not around to refill that, or I'm just having an urgent need where I need to speak with someone. And so at San Antonio Regional Hospital, we believe that opening these urgent care sites will be extremely beneficial to our population in the Inland Empire. I'd love to share some demographics of what we're seeing from your population here in Chino and the patients that we see coming through our ED. So in your 91710 zip code, looks like your demographics are predominantly 41% male, 58% female. Ethnicity in that zip code is 50% Hispanic and about 36% white, not Hispanic. 34% of the people in this zip code have been diagnosed with some type of mental health or behavioral health issue. So we believe that these urgent cares are needed urgently, if you will. In your 91708 zip code, 35.9% male, 64% female, 34% white, non-Hispanic, and 29% Hispanic, followed by 21% Black, African American, and 38.7%, so just under 39% of people in this zip code, 394 people have been diagnosed with some type of mental or behavioral health issue. So you can see in your community alone, this is definitely an urgent need. And when we have a decline in psychologists and psychiatrists and locations for people to go, compounded with the 5150 rules that are now impacting our emergency rooms, it's truly an issue for healthcare. In your zip codes, the top issues when it comes to mental and behavioral health that we've seen coming through our emergency room from Chino are anxiety and fear-related disorders, depressive disorders, and schizophrenia, psychotic disorders. In the last year, in your total population with both zip codes, we had approximately 8,500 people from Chino come through with some type of mental health issue through our emergency room alone. So some of the things that we're doing at San Antonio to put a bright spot on this, our CEO, John Chapman, who I wished could have been here tonight, but he had other obligations. I'm a lot funnier than he is, so you get me tonight instead. He just has foresight, and things like these mental health urgent cares really give us an opportunity to reach the community in a unique way. And because of that, I'd love to say, people say we won awards. I say we earned them. We work very hard to get these awards. U.S. World News and World News report says that we are some of the best hospitals in the country. And some of the awards that we're extremely proud of are the Women's Choice Awards. In 2024, we were awarded with 5 different Women's Choice Awards. Best Hospitals for Heart Care, Best Hospitals for Cancer Care, Best for Orthopedics, Best for Stroke Care, and Best for Emergency Care. We're in the top 2% in the nation for heart care, and that's right here in your backyard. And as we all know, women are the people who typically choose the health care that their family is going to have, where they're going to visit. So we feel extremely blessed that the female population has said San Antonio is the best, and that's where I want to take my family. We're really excited about our new residency program. As I said, our first 10 residents will be coming through starting in July. As I mentioned, behavioral health urgent care. We're going to start this very soon with our 2 Care for You clinics. We have one currently in Upland and one opening in Fontana. Care for You was initially started as, so if you are an inpatient, typically when you're discharged, your physician will tell you, you need to see your primary care physician within 7 days. I just told you earlier, we have major access issues. So you call and they say your primary care can't see you for 3 weeks. That doesn't help you when you need your follow-up and you need your medications and your prescriptions, or excuse me, your medications are your prescriptions. So we opened the Care for You clinics so that within 7 days, you can see a care provider and get that follow-up, get those medications and the things that you need so that you can continue your care. But we're going to continue with the behavioral health piece. You may or may not know this, but there is a maternity crisis throughout California and our nation where maternity units are just simply closing. It's actually a cost inhibitor for hospitals. We don't make money off of maternity wards, so hospitals are closing the maternity wards left and right because we're not getting the money back that we're putting out for each birth. However, we know at San Antonio Regional Hospital that when you give birth, if you were birthed at San Antonio Regional Hospital or if you give birth to a child, it's going to endear you to our hospital. So maybe we won't make money on the front end, but on the back end, you're going to continue to come to us for your care, and you're going to be here for life, and that's our slogan. So we hope to see people throughout their life and all the care that they need from birth through dignified endings. Here is a schematic. It's probably a little bit hard to see for the people in the audience, but this is our new maternity wing. So it's already planned. We are building a new one, and it's going to start next year. We're raising funds for it currently. We'll have a new NICU. We'll have labor and delivery rooms complete with whirlpool tubs. There's plans to have people come in and give manicures and pedicures and just have some amenities that especially our younger generation is really looking for, so that they can, they're Instagrammable moments. I think that's what it's called, Instagrammable moments. So as far as population health is concerned, we really have to think about our senior care. Growth in senior population, of course, varies across all regions, but if you look on this graph, you can see it's the highest in the Inland Empire. And all of you, maybe at one point, maybe right now, you are taking care of one of your parents who is ailing and needs to go to different doctor's appointments. And we know that people over the age of 65 typically have about 5 doctor's appointments per month. And so caretakers, sons, daughters, family members who are taking their parents or their grandparents to these appointments are having to leave work or do these various things to try to get them to these appointments. So we are opening the Center of Aging next year. You may recognize this building if you've gone to Victoria Gardens in Rancho Cucamonga. It was the Mercury Insurance Building. We purchased the building. We have administrative offices upstairs, and the entire downstairs of this building is going to be dedicated to our Center of Aging. The concept is our aging population will be able to do all of their appointments in one building. So we're talking your primary care. They'll be able to get their labs, go down the hall to get do their optometry appointment, their audiology appointment, their PT, everything they need in one place. And this will take the burden off of the caretakers to get these individuals to their appointments. But if they can't bring them, we also are going to provide transportation so that these individuals, the seniors, can get to their appointments and get everything taken care of in one place. So these are just some of the things that San Antonio Regional Hospital is doing to try to combat the access issues and some of the things that we're seeing in our community that just are difficult to face, but we're trying to make some small measures so that we can have a big impact on the Inland Empire. And with that, any questions?
Heather, thank you very much for being here and providing all of this valuable information. Any questions or comments from council members? That's phenomenal. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for your time.
We look forward to eventually having you as a presence in our community.
We really look forward to that as well. Thank you.
Okay, prior to our council meeting, we did have a closed session. I'd like to ask our city attorney to provide a report out of that meeting.
Thank you, Mayor and Council and all of those present. As announced by the Mayor, there was a closed session immediately before this open session, and the City Council discussed the 2 items listed on the closed session portion of the agenda. Number 1, conference with legal counsel, 1 item of anticipated litigation under the heading initiation of litigation. City Council received a briefing of that anticipated litigation matter and provided unanimous direction to the city manager. No further reportable action was taken on that matter. Item number 2, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation. the matter of U.S. XREL Hendricks versus JM Manufacturing Co., Inc. and related parties. The City Council received a briefing on the status of that matter, and following the briefing by motion of Mayor Pro Tem Burton, seconded by Councilmember Comstock, and carried unanimously 4-0, the council directed that the City of Chino be withdrawn and dismissed from this case. That concludes the report. Thank you.
Agenda additions or revisions?
No changes, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Next, under public announcements. Join us this weekend, Saturday, April 5th and Sunday, April 6th for Chino Days. This free 2-day festival is a celebration of everything that makes Chino such a wonderful place to call home. Enjoy free carnival rides, live performances, a chalk arc contest, delicious food vendors, and so much more. Bring your family, invite your neighbors, and join the fun on Saturday from 2 to 8 p.m. and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit cityofchino.org/Chino Days for all the details. Then get ready for an egg sighting time at the annual Easter Bunny Extravaganza on Saturday, April 12th at the Chino Youth Museum located at 13191 6th Street. Families are invited to enjoy a variety of springtime activities, including a scavenger hunt, Easter crafts, interactive exhibit play, and storage time with the Easter Bunny. Of course, there will be plenty of opportunities for photos with the bunny himself. This year's event is extra special as we celebrate 25 wonderful years of the Chino Youth Museum, inspiring young minds throughout the Chino Valley and beyond. Pre-registration is required and space is limited. And next, everything that we're all excited about, calling all car enthusiasts. Get ready for the Kiwanis Corn Feed Run Car Show and Cruise. Join us on Saturday, April 26th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Chino City Hall for one of the most anticipated car shows in the region. Hosted by the Chino Kiwanis Club, this annual event brings together hundreds, actually thousands, of beautifully restored classic cars and trucks for a full day of cruising, community, and nostalgia. For more information, visit www.chinokiwanis.com and make plans to roll into one of Chino's signature springtime traditions. Next on the agenda is our public communication time. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the council on items that do not appear elsewhere on the agenda. Our first written request to speak is from Pastor J.D. Hedema from Echo Church. He's going to be leading us in an invocation if you care to join us.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Let's bow our heads. Father, we come to you this evening asking you to bless the city. God, we ask you to bless the community, the families in this community, the businesses in this community. Lord, we ask you to touch and move in every single individual that calls this community home. God, I pray specifically for families this evening. I pray for parents raising children, God, especially dealing with ever greater economic challenges. God, I pray you would bless them. I pray you would give them wisdom and strength during this time. God, I pray you'd bless the children in this community. Thank you for community activities and sports that help kids to thrive and to have fun. God, I just passed Heritage Park on the way here, and I saw the Little Leaguers playing baseball. Thank you for that. Thank you for the evidence of health in a community where there are kids that are enjoying themselves. God, would you move and continue to move in the kids' lives in our community? God, I pray for marriages in our community. God, we know that a city is only as strong as the strength of the families in that city. And we know that a family is only as strong as the strength of the marriage that holds that family together. God, we ask that you would bless marriages. Would you help struggling marriages in Chino? Would you help them to have the humility to seek help? God, I pray for the poor in this community. God, Lord, we know that poverty is complex. It has multiple factors to it. But I pray to the best extent possible that we could be a community that cares well for the poor. And Lord, we ask not just for compassion, but we ask for wisdom in knowing how to properly handle and help this issue that affects not just ours, but every single city in this world. God, we pray for small businesses and startups. God, I pray that you would provide more jobs through those businesses to the many people who need them. I pray finally, Lord, for the elderly in our community. Lord, my heart aches for those who are nearing the end of their lives and find themselves very alone. God, I pray you would be with them and guide us as a people to recognize them and even spend time with them to the best of our ability. God, we ask you to move in this community and touch every single person here. Help us, draw near to us as the city of Chino. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Next written request to speak is Maureen Mendoza.
I'm here again to talk about the ARC. I did receive your letter regarding my letter that I wrote, but I'm disappointed in how it was written and the outcome of it. The one is the ARC team's preparedness for the up-and-coming summer opening, including the establishment of veterinarian services. From the start, when I got the budgets, because I pull agendas apart, okay, I noticed that on the agenda, there was no veterinarian, no budget for a veterinarian. It's very hard to run a humane society without a veterinarian, okay? You're leaving one that has a veterinarian, actually multiple veterinarians. Now we're going into one that doesn't have one. Now, Clint, the director, is trying to get third-party entities contracts for veterinarian services. But what you have to understand is what a vet at a humane society can do for $100, that third-party contract individual can't do it. He's already mentioned that one vet wants $354 to do a TNR for a cat. $180,000 isn't going to go far because the intake of the dogs and cats that you have coming into the temporary shelter, they have to be fixed before they're adopted out. So the majority of the $180,000 for the outsourcing of a vet isn't going to be much. So does that mean that the injured or the sick that come in, the animals, are going to be euthanated? Where they go to the third-party vet and they're going to be euthanized? I have to wonder about that because there's no real money for the veterinarian services. Not only that, at one of the meetings, they held up a organizational chart and promised me there was a vet and I could have a copy. When I went to the attorney and to Jordan, they said, no, I can't have a copy. Jackie assured me she'll get me a copy. She'll get me a copy. Well, guess what? I didn't get that copy, and she told me I wasn't going to get that copy, okay? And because they had no intention of having a vet. This last meeting that we had, there was a problem with the agenda, okay? Like I told you guys, I read agendas, and I pick them apart. And I tried to tell Claudia, you did the agenda wrong. Your agenda that you wrote up, okay, says 1, approval of minutes, 2, an amendment of the goods and service agreement, and then 3, the resolution admitting to the City of Chino Council. But your attachments, item number 1 was the amendment of the goods and service agreement with Mid Corporation, and item number 2 was actually the resolution admitting to the City of Chino Hills. So when they pulled that off the agenda, they really didn't pull it off because item 2 is really the Chino Hills resolution. It wasn't what was stated on here. And I tried to explain that before the meeting started, if she could fix that and tell the actual board members. And then I was told, because I couldn't get the attachments to the amendment of the goods and service agreement, because that's the budget. It turned out to be, I think it was 56 pages they gave me 4 minutes before the meeting started. So how am I supposed to go over 46 pages that would have guaranteed that the ARC had no intention of ever having a vet because there was no vet surgery area in the blueprints? So I have to wonder, out of all the attachments, that was the only one that the public couldn't have. Why? Was it because they knew I was going to pull it apart and I was going to see that? I don't know. Not only that, this meeting was posted from 3/17 on saying it was a regular board meeting. All of a sudden, I'm asking for the agenda and the location because on the Ontario City website, it just has 3/26 and it had the time. So I emailed Clint. As soon as I emailed him, all of a sudden, guess what? They're having a special meeting. Well, that's circumventing the Brown Act. And that was unfair to me as a resident of Chino because you guys are part of the JPA. You guys are part of it. You guys need to go to this meeting because I don't think you guys are being informed of everything that is happening. And I'm really upset over this. Then I gave you guys a letter because you are part of the JPA of the Cure and Correct Demand letter over the Brown Act. There's
You want to wrap it up because you're out of time.
Okay, there's another agenda, which was, I think, January 16th. It's still not on the city website. I can't get to the attachments. They gave me the agenda, but I can't get to the attachments.
Okay, Maureen, this is a new organization. We do have a representative on it. You know that, and that's
Yes.
Mr. Burton. They are working through a lot of issues right now. It's brand new. They're not totally organized yet. You know that. I don't know why you haven't been given certain documents. Maybe they aren't ready to be released yet. I don't know. I can't adjust how another organization's agenda is. You have to adjust. You have to address them with that. But Curtis is our representative. He does feel comfortable with what they're doing. They are going to get a veterinarian. It is not going to be immediate. This is a temporary facility. And there are issues that have to be worked out. We understand that. Thank you for being here. Those are the only written requests that we have to speak. Now, we have a tradition here, and that is if any students are in our audience, we ask them to come up, introduce themselves, tell us the school that they attend, the class that they attend, and why they're here this evening. I know we have one student at least.
Hello, my name is Savannah Owen. I go to Ontario Christian High School, and I am here for a project for my government class. This is my first time I've ever been to a city council meeting, and thank you guys for having me.
Well, thank you for being here this evening. Are there any other students or scouts in the audience that need to come up and introduce themselves? Okay, seeing none. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Under information, we have a fire hazard severity zones. This is information from the Chino Valley Fire District regarding the fire hazard severity zones presented by the Fire Marshal, Danielle O'Toole. Now, Danielle is here this evening to give us a presentation on this. Danielle?
Good evening, Mayor Ulloa, council members, staff, and community members. Thank you for allowing me to present information this evening related to the newly released fire hazard severity zones. Fire hazard severity zones have been identified statewide due to various major destructive fires that actually date back to the early 1980s. The state is broken into 3 types of areas: federal, state, and local. The first map related to State Responsibility Area, or SRA, was released in 1995, and the first Local Responsibility Area map, or LRA, was released in 1992. With the rollout of the first LRA map, the state was only required at that time to map for very high zones. The government code sets forth the requirements for CAL FIRE to map fire hazard severity zones for both the SRA and the LRA. In addition, it it sets forth the requirements for local agencies related to the maps and for property owners. In 2021, a Senate bill was passed requiring the state to now identify not just the very high for LRA, but also to include high and moderate. What are the zones? The zones identify levels of fire hazard. CAL FIRE used the best available science and data to develop and field test a model that served as the basis of zone assignments. The model evaluated the probability of the area burning and the potential fire behavior in the area. Factors taken into account include fire history, vegetation, flame length, blowing embers, proximity to wildland, terrain, and weather. Based on the model, an area could receive an identification of very high, high, or moderate. The SRA maps were updated in 2023 with an effective date of April 2024. Once CAL FIRE was able to get through their state maps, they began to work on the LRA maps. Our office received notification in late last year that we could anticipate LRA maps to be released sometime in January. Due to the recent fires that occurred, it did delay the release of the maps and their approach. The state decided to actually do a phased approach in regards to the rollout. So phase 1 was released on February 10th, with each subsequent phase receiving theirs roughly 2 weeks behind. So we received in phase 4 our maps back last Monday on the 24th of March. So this is a breakdown. So I chose to obviously pull up our county. So it identifies all the cities within our county, and then it gives the breakdown for Chino. So that pink column you're seeing, it's dated 2011. That was based off the last LRA map. So at that time, there was no designated zones within the city of Chino that were identified. Currently, the state has now identified just over 1,000 acres in very high, 185 in high, and 321 in moderate. This slide is actually the map that's released from CAL FIRE, so it shows the city limits and then the area to the southern portion of Chino in the preserve that has the designated areas. So you'll see the red, the orange, and the yellow. And then actually that green area, because the state's not required to map federal land, they just designate it on their map. This map was provided actually as a courtesy from the city, so it's just a blown up version of the preserve area so you can see the defined areas a little better. It is important to note that the government code does not allow an agency to lessen an identified area. A local agency may increase an area, however, they do have to submit substantial findings related to the change. And at this time, the fire district is not looking to make any changes to the map. This is our timeline. So as mentioned, the government code sets forth the timeline that local agencies are required to follow. So we received the maps on March 24th. Within 30 days of receiving the maps are to be made available for public review and comment. So we actually opened that up on our website today. The map can be found there on an interactive link. So public comments will be accepted from April 1st till the end of the month. Within 120 days, a local agency is required to adopt the maps by ordinance. So we are anticipating taking an ordinance before our board, either at the May and June board meetings or June to July board meetings. And then after adoption of the ordinance, within 30 days, we are required to submit the ordinance to the Board of Forestry and Fire Protection. So what are the impacts? So for a very high, there are planning and development requirements that must be met. So planning requirements would be things like CEQA, the safety element within the general plan needs to be updated, the Subdivision Map Act needs to be followed, as well as any subdivision reviews. There are actually no impacts for that. That was some legislation that came into play, and it's for communities with more than 30 dwellings with only one designated access point. They're also required to adhere to existing building standards, so any new structures built within those areas would need to comply with that. Property owners are required also to maintain defensible space, as well as perform a hazard disclosure if they were to transfer or sell the property. So there was a bill passed back in 2021 that the seller of any real property that was looking to sell that property had to have an inspection and disclose that information to the buyer. The impacts for the high would be that any structures would have to comply with existing building standards as well as the hazard disclosure. This is the link that's going to take us to the website. So last month we did roll out a website for the general public. It just gives some general information. There is an interactive, if I can move this. the link right there, click here to view the fire hazard severity zone map. It will actually take you to an interactive map. It will be zoomed out for the entire state of California, and you'll see the various zones. However, there is a magnifying glass where you're able to then type in a property address or a specific city and then zoom in from there. There is the email address that the public can submit any public comments to. And then again, just goes through our time frame in regards to what we're anticipating for our ordinance. And then CAL FIRE actually did a really great job of providing information. So there's a link to their page. They have various videos on their website that relate to the history of fire hazard severity zones, what are they, the methods for creating them, and an FAQ document. There's also a fact sheet as well as an FAQ from the California Department of Insurance. So my last slide is just actually has a QR code on it. So if the public is so inclined, that will actually take you to our webpage. So that concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
It's very interesting information. It appears that most of our dangerous zones are in areas where there aren't any houses, and yet your chart did mention that there are houses in that area. So are they looking at zoned areas, whether they're built or not, with the density that's specified in those zones?
So the numbers that were indicated in that yellow, orange, and red, those are actually acres called out within the city limits. Yes, it has nothing, they don't identify actual structures, they only identify acreage.
Okay, so we may have acreage in that area, but no actual homes in that area.
Correct. From what I've seen, the only structure that currently exists within that area is the Institute for Women.
Yeah, we saw that too. Well, thank you very much. Any questions or comments from council members? Any questions from the audience? Well, thank you very much for the information.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, next item on our agenda is the consent calendar. Do any council members wish to have any items pulled? Okay, seeing none, then I would entertain a motion and a second. Okay, we have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Burton, second from Councilperson Comstock. Please vote. And come on. This thing. Well, hang on. If all else fails, use the mouse. Okay, the item passes 4 yes with 1 absent. Next, under public hearings, item number 7, Community Development Block Grant FY 24-25 Action Plan, Substantial Amendment. This item is to adopt the resolution 2025-010 fiscal year 24-25 substantial amendment to the Community Development Block Grant Action Plan. I'd like to declare the public hearing open and ask for a staff report from Tracy Rossetti Smith, our Senior Management Analyst, and Warren Morleone, our Director of Development Services.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Staff is proposing a substantial amendment which includes a cancellation of a project and the reallocation of project funds to the 24-25 CDBG Action Plan. Amendments are required by HUD when proposed changes amount to or are greater than 25% of the original allocation or upon cancellation of a funded project. The original CDBG budget adopted on June 4th, 2024 allocated $298,868.65 to a new project at the Community Garden Pumpkin Patch. This project has since been canceled. Staff evaluated project funding needs and proposed a transfer of these funds to the active CIP Alley Improvement Project. As per Exhibit 1, with an original budget of $219,256 and the reallocation of funds in the amount of $298,868.65, the new total CDBG allocation for the Alley Improvement Project will be $515,124.65. This reallocation will enable sufficient funding to complete the project during this current fiscal year, as well as expedite the utilization of CDBG funds, aiding in our compliance of HUD's strict timeliness requirements. In compliance with the city's participation plan, Staff published a 30-day public notice for review from March 1st to April 1st in the Chino Champion. No comments have been received as of tonight's public hearing. Following adoption of the resolution approving the substantial amendment, the revised action plan will be submitted to HUD for review. That concludes my report, if there should be any questions.
Tracy, why was the original project canceled?
Go ahead.
Did you want to answer?
No, go ahead, if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mayor and council, we had planned to do another second community garden on that location, but we think there's a higher and better use for that. The garden that we have on Riverside Drive used to have a very large waiting list, and that waiting list is no longer there. So we feel like for this particular money, the alley project is more urgent, and we are going to look for another use for that property over here on 6th Street.
So you don't feel that there's a need for an expanded garden any longer?
Not the need that we had in the beginning, no.
Interesting, okay. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this item? Okay, seeing none, then I'll close the public hearing, turn it over to council. Any comments or questions? No? Okay, then I would entertain a motion and a second to approve item number 7. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Burton, second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote. Item passes 4 yes with 1 absent. Next item under new business, item number 8, fiscal year 24-25 mid-year budget review. This item is to adopt resolution number 2025-012 to approve the mid-year budget adjustments for fiscal year 24-25. Staff report this evening will be provided by our city manager, Linda Reich, and our director of finance, Kim Sowell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Before we jump into the mid-year report, I'd like to officially introduce our new finance director, Kim Sowell. I know that some of you have met her outside the meeting. She actually started with us on March 10th, and we were very fortunate to attract such a talented and experienced professional in the finance world, and not to mention her leadership skills. So even in the 3 weeks that she's been here, you know, she's already jumped into the mid-year report. She's got a very good understanding of our budget and how it works. So I'm just going to give her a second to just introduce herself, and then we'll jump right into the report.
That's kind of cruel, 20 days and you throw her into a mid-year review? Gee.
Thank you, Linda, for the excellent welcome. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm so happy to be joining the Chino executive team. I've been working with cities for close to 30 years, and this is my 6th city that I'm at. Previously, I worked for the last 2 cities. I was at the city of Paramount and the city of Southgate. And so I'm very excited to join this city. And even in 3 weeks, it has been fun. The mid-year budget, you know, in my profession, doing this is not, sometimes you could see it as a challenge, but you know, when you like what you do, you see it as an excitement. Thank you.
Okay.
It's true. So I'll let Kim go ahead and jump into the report for you.
Okay. I'm pleased to present the fiscal year 24-25 mid-year budget review. This is an overview of the timeline. Back in June of 2023, the City Council decided to adopt a 2-year budget for fiscal year 23-24 and fiscal year 24-25. At the end of the first fiscal year, the second year budget should be updated to reflect changes that happen. That update did not happen until January of 2025, which was about 2 months ago. And after that update, we are now doing the mid-year budget review. And the mid-year budget review is a review that we do at the middle of the year which reflects from July through December and gives us an opportunity to do a projection that takes us through the end of the year, June 2025. And at the same time, we are in the process of doing the fiscal year 25-26 budget. So as you could see, between January, February, and March, staff and the department has been very, very busy working with the departments to analyze the numbers, all happening at the same time. And during this time, the city has been doing the audit, trying to complete the audit of fiscal year that ended June 2024. Just a brief overview of the midterm budget that was adopted back in January. In that budget, the total net revenues was estimated to be $138 million, and this reflects the operating revenues that included Measure V and transfers in for operation. The total operating expenditures total $123 million, and that also includes transfers out to other funds that are kept separate from the general fund, but do depend on the general fund to backfill all their operations. So a net surplus of $15 million is a result of operating revenues exceeding operating expenditures by about $15 million. After we take into account one-time expenditures, which mostly includes capital improvement projects of about $15.6 million, the year is estimated to end with only $146,000 surplus. Outside of this budget, the City Council has approved between July 1, 24 and March 6, 2025, $3 million more in expenditure appropriations. So as you could see, the $146,000 surplus is not sufficient to cover the $3 million additional appropriation, which means that the $3 million is being covered by the fund balance. Since the midterm budget was adopted, staff worked together to review the funds and found additional changes. We made additional changes to revenue estimates. This reflects the total, a summary of about $16 million reduction to the overall revenue estimates. In the upper half, we are reducing the general fund by $3.4 million, and that is made up of an increase to the sales tax, which exclude the Measure V, an increase to the sales tax of $356,000, an increase to property tax in a total of $357,000, and then a large reduction in revenues from user fees in the total of $3.9 million. And this is largely due to delays in multi-unit developments, which originally we expected, but there was a delay in the projects. And those projects include the Chino Hills Parkway, which includes a 2-building, 300-unit apartment complex, the NEC Chino Hills Parkway development, which included a 200-unit apartment complex, and also the Orbis development. So all of that impacted our user fee revenues, and so we recommended a reduction of $3.9 million. Because of these delays in the developments, it also impacted the development impact fee funds. So we are also reducing that for a total of $15.8 million. So as you could see, the $16 million reduction is largely as a result of large multi-unit development projects. And also, when I list the total in this table, is not inclusive of all the revenues that we have in the budget. These total just reflects only those revenues that have adjustments in them. We also request an additional appropriation of $1 million, $811,000 in the general fund. So we are requesting $620,000 due to increased obligation to the Chino Valley Fire District. $150,000 as a result of contractual adjustment for the Inland Valley Humane Society. $34,000 for additional cost. Additional $34,000 for the increased cost in the San Bernardino County Register of Voters general election that happened in 2024. And $7,000 for special projects staffing cost. We're also requesting $250,000 for the Inland Empire Utilities Agency as an additional cost for sewage treatment services. So therefore, the total additional appropriation, $811,000 to the general fund and $250,000 to the sewer fund. Other adjustments include removing a budget for the pension expense. It was originally budgeted, and during our review and audit, we no longer need this budget, so we are removing it from the budget. In order to, as you could see, we have a lot of large item appropriation and also a reduction in revenue. So the current year's operation will end in a deficit. Therefore, we are requesting a transfer in of $7 million from our internal service funds, $2.5 million from the Employer Services Fund, and $4.5 million from the Equipment Management Fund. And I will go over the transfers in a little bit more detail in the next two slides. Back in June 2008, during the recession, the city did a transfers from the internal service funds in a total of $6.4 million. At that time, the city felt that it was needed to inject the general fund with some cash. So even after that transfers of $6.4 million, the city council recommended that, the staff recommended that we set a minimum fund balance reserve in each of these funds. So as you could see, the fund, the Central Services Fund, the Liability Insurance Fund, the Employee Benefits, the Building Maintenance and Equipment Management, well, not Equipment Management Fund, but the other four funds, we have kept a minimum balance of $7.5 million. So this is a table that includes all the history of the fund balance since June 2008. Looking at the second column, as of June 30, 2024, the total among all those internal service funds totaled $20.7 million. And when we did the budget, we projected that at the end of June 25, we will have about approximately $20 million. And the reason why the balance, the total balance don't change that much is because every year, as part of the budget process, we continuously replenish these funds to keep it at a steady amount year over year. Because this year we have an unusually high amount of one-time expenditures, the general fund needs additional cash to help balance the budget. And therefore, staff recommends that we transfer $2.5 million from the Employee Services Fund and $4.5 million from the Equipment Management Fund for a total of $7 million, which will be transferred out of these funds into the general fund. And after this transfer, we projected that the ending fund balance in these funds will maintain a total of approximately $13 million. So lastly, I wanted to show a big picture of the current fiscal year 25 budget again. So after, if the City Council approves all the recommended adjustments to revenues and appropriations and transfers in, we projected that the year will end with a $675,000 surplus. I just want to note also that between now and June 2025, there may be additional one-time appropriations that may be anticipated that is not included in this projection. So looking at the general fund balance, the year, so when we did the mid-year budget review, the audit is also completed around the same time, and it is best practice to begin the beginning fund balance July 1, 2024, with the revised beginning fund balance as it was in the audit financial report. And so we adjusted the $37 million beginning fund balance to reflect a $30 million adjusted audited balance. Plus the 675 revised net surplus, we projected to end the year with $30.8 million, which is just a slight increase. This concludes my presentation, and it is our recommendation that the City Council adopt resolution number 2025012, authorizing the mid-year budget adjustments for fiscal year 24-25 as detailed in exhibits A, B, and C. Thank you, and I'm available to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. Linda, any other clarifications before we turn it over to council?
The one thing then, when Kim was talking about the upcoming items that we have coming still this year, we do have one, the next item on the agenda. So you'll see that one coming for around $1 million. So that one's next.
Okay. Council comments, questions? Any comments or questions from the audience? Kurt?
Kim, first of all, welcome to the city. You definitely had your hands full going through this, and I appreciate you weeding through all the nuts and the bolts to finish this up. I would also like to thank Nadine Lowry for all of your hard work and the staff in keeping us together during the time that Rob was gone. So thank you very much, Nadine. I appreciate it. We've got still got a lot of work to do, but once again, I do appreciate the work that the staff is doing. And Kim, once again, welcome to the city.
Thank you.
There is a lot of work to do, and I think the 3 developments that have not come to fruition that we anticipated has made a big hit on the budget, obviously. It just, again, raises a flag to all of us that one day when we're built out, you're not going to have those development services incomes coming in, so we cannot rely on those kinds of fees to sustain us, long-term. They're one-time income amounts that are going to come in to help development, but once we're fully developed, there won't be any more of those fees. So, yeah, this has been a shock, to say the least, and we're going to have to roll up our sleeves and tighten our belt and figure out. We may have to delay some CIP projects that are in the pipeline but haven't started yet. Reanalyze kind of our fiscal position on some major expenditures that we had anticipated, and figure out where we're going to go from here on. But it's not unlike our family household budgets, is it? When we get a shock of an expense, or someone gets laid off from a job, or a health issue, or whatever, when you have major expenses that hit. So, yeah, this is not fun. And welcome to the city of Chino. I apologize that your first 3 weeks have been spent going through this, helping us reconcile this budget, but hopefully
Thank you.
it'll get better from now on. Any other comments, questions?
I have a comment.
Karen.
Thank you, Kim. I just want to echo those same comments from the mayor and from the mayor pro tem. I think it would also be helpful for us as we're reconciling the mid-year budget and going for mid-year approvals. One of the things I did discuss with the city manager during my meeting this week was to have a closer, for those numbers to come sooner for us. I know there's been a lot of changes in finance, with staffing and a few other things. I think it would be more helpful for us to have those numbers a little bit sooner, or anticipation, before the council takes action on improving different things mid-year, so that if we can foresee, and now with the development services component of it that the mayor talks about, we clearly knew that a couple of those larger developments weren't going to come to fruition. So having discussions with the council members during their meetings with the city managers about being aware of that stuff, like the mayor just discussed, I think it would help us in making decisions about approving different projects and things mid-year. So having those numbers more accurately and reflectively to also include our anticipated development impact fees will help us make better decisions as we move forward.
I totally agree with that.
Thank you, Kim.
Well, and also Kim is going to restructure some of the budget information that we get to make it more user-friendly, so that we can do a little bit better projecting in what our revenues are and where we actually stand. And again, I think we have some expenditures coming up that we may have to delay, and one great big one that's coming up that apparently we can't change, that we're going to have to figure out how we're going to have to handle it now. I'm not going to talk about it, but I was very hesitant initially about the purchase, but apparently it's already been done, so we're going to figure out now what we're going to do with it. Okay, with that, we need a motion and a second to approve this item. We have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Burton, second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote. And the item passes 4 yes with 1 absent. Next item on the agenda is item number 9, abatement payment, California Department of Transportation, which is also called Caltrans, for the Pine Avenue Connector Project ST061. This item is to approve an abatement payment to the California Department of Transportation for the Pine Avenue Connector Project STO 61 in the amount of $1,529,549. Staff report this evening will be provided by our Contracts and DIF Administrator Sylvia Ramos and our Director of Public Works, Haijin Lee.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. Before you this evening for your consideration is the approval of the Pine Avenue Connector abatement payment to Caltrans, reimbursing ineligible costs associated with federal funding under the Safety Lou program. I'd like to give you a little bit of background regarding the project through the course of the last 10 years and also bringing it up to date where we are now. The Pine Avenue Connector project proposes widening Pine Avenue from 2 to 4 lanes between Euclid Avenue and El Prado Road and constructing a new 4-lane extension to State Route 71. This project has remained in the preliminary engineering and design phase for over a decade due to ongoing challenges related to State Route 71 interchange project, fill material constraints, existing infrastructure conflicts, and the complexity of coordinating across multiple agencies. To overcome these challenges, city staff has worked closely with Chino Hills, San Bernardino County Transportation Authority, or SBTCA, and Caltrans to develop a new bridge concept that meets agency requirements and regional goals. In October 2024, the Infrastructure Committee reviewed and supported this new bridge approach, which now necessitates a new request for proposals to secure updated design services, which will also include preparation of a full environmental impact report. In 2009, the city was authorized to use federal funding under Safety Lou, as defined on the slide, with a maximum allocation of $6.1 million and a federal reimbursement rate of 80% for eligible costs. To date, the city has utilized and committed over $5 million toward prelim engineering and design efforts. Of this $5 million, the city has received just over $3 million in reimbursements from Caltrans. There is currently $1.9 million remaining that can be utilized for the new bridge design moving forward. In 2012, the city entered into a professional services agreement with Hewlett-Zollars for the preliminary engineering and design for Pine Avenue. Over the years, the city requested multiple timeline extensions and additional Safety Lou funding from Caltrans as the project scope evolved. Each request to Caltrans triggered audits to ensure federal compliance. In 2024, Caltrans discovered that Hewlett-Zollars' agreement had expired due to missed contract renewals by city staff since 2020. As a result, related costs deemed ineligible for Safety Lou reimbursement from 2020 forward, and staff conducted a subsequent city-led cost review, which determined that $1,529,549 in reimbursements received between 2020 and 2024 must be repaid back to Caltrans. The $1.5 million abatement payment prompted a comprehensive review of the project invoicing to identify eligible costs that may be carried forward to the new bridge design concept. These costs will be offset using preserved circulation development impact fees and Measure I arterial funds as outlined on the slide. There's also going to be an offset through general fund for a little over $900,000. The review of the costs associated with Pine Avenue also revealed misallocated expenditures specifically charged related to federal advocacy and the Pine Avenue repair project, also shown on the slide, that were incorrectly billed to the Pine Avenue Connector project between 2022 and 2024. Staff has addressed these discrepancies and is preparing a repayment plan, which will be formalized in a forthcoming report to the City Council. Staff is desiring to move forward with the new concept and to allow for a clean start under the updated scope and funding structure. A new project number will be assigned to the Pine Avenue Connector Bridge project moving forward to align financial tracking with the revised scope and funding plan. It should be noted that the city manager and staff met with Congresswoman Norma Torres to request an exemption from Safety Lou repayment. While an exemption was deemed infeasible due to the age of the grant, her office submitted a follow-up request to Caltrans to reinstate the repayment amount into the available safety lieu balance. If approved, this action would increase the remaining balance to $3.4 million, which could then be used towards the new bridge concept. Caltrans is currently reviewing the request at headquarters. The Pine Avenue Connector project is included in the city's FTIP, which identifies transportation projects planned for implementation in alignment with the regional transportation efforts and priorities. This project remains a high priority for both the city and the region because it will enhance mobility, safety, and flood resilience. Having said that, staff is currently developing a revised scope of work and preparing the new request for proposals for the bridge concept, which is anticipated to be completed in the next few months. Staff will continue to collaborate with the City of Chino Hills, SBTCA, and Caltrans to develop a bridge concept that meets agency requirements and supports regional transportation goals, and will bring back updates to the Infrastructure Committee as the process evolves. Therefore, it's staff's recommendation to approve the abatement payment to Caltrans in the amount of $1,529,549 and to establish a new CIP project, ST-261, for the Pine Avenue Connector Bridge project, and formally closing out ST-061 for the Pine Avenue Connector. This concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
On this item. Okay, seeing none, council comments or questions? Mark?
No, we went over this in the Infrastructure Committee meeting, and we just have to do a better job of making sure that we stay on our timelines. This is a project that obviously is very expensive, but it needs to be completed because we really need it down there. But our past, we haven't really made sure that we were meeting all the timelines that were required because of the grants. So we need to make sure that from this point forward, we stay on track and that we have the ability to at least report back to us the progress so that we know that we're meeting the timelines so that this doesn't happen again. But I appreciate what you guys have done so far, but we just need to make sure we stay on course.
Sounds good. Any other comments? Kurt?
I would just like to thank Hajan Lee for really discovering that whole grant issue and getting us, really attempting to get us back on track with that. I know that some things have fallen through the cracks, and I as Councilmember Lucio had mentioned, this is long overdue, and it just seems like we're paddling upstream, and it's very difficult to absorb a lot of this, especially when those issues are falling through the cracks. So I appreciate the work that you have done in discovering these things and the work that you're doing to get us back on track. So thank you for that.
Karen?
Thank you, Mayor. I have also had the opportunity to have a more comprehensive briefing of this project over the past several years and this abatement payment. I've had the opportunity also to share with our staff how frustrating and disappointing actually this is. This is a challenging project, and we've actually challenged our staff to actually reevaluate from where we started, and probably several things in hindsight being 2020 that we wish we would have done differently or redone. And because of the scope and the complexity of this project with the different entities involved in the flood control, Army Corps, Orange County Transportation, this is really hard. But to Mark's point, this is a critical component of our transportation infrastructure that we have conveyed to our staff that has to be advanced. Not only is our community depending upon it, but also the region is depending on it. In addition to our staff's commitment to advancing these projects, This is going to take a large scale and scope of political will to advance this project as well, because this project is a regional concern, not just for choke points, but for transportation and for safety. So as difficult it is, sometimes we have to make some errors or mistakes, and I want to thank our staff for being candid about that and bringing it forward to us. And I also want to thank Torres for advocating for us to hopefully earmark that money for us and bring it back to us again, because it's not certainly that the money isn't needed. It's just we weren't able, as Councilmember Lucio stated, to make some of these timelines. And there's no more time to waste on this project. It's not getting any less expensive. We've talked about this in infrastructure. So thank you for being candid about it again. And we will, as stated, go back to the drawing board. I like the direction that we're heading now. In previous briefings I've heard about from infrastructure, and I do believe that we will be successful in constructing this. So that concludes my comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. With that, are there any comments from the public on this item? Okay, seeing none, I need a motion and a second to approve item number 9. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Burton, second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote. Item passes 4 yes with 1 absent. Next item on the agenda is Mayor and Council reports. See, on Thursday, March 20th, Mayor Pro Tem Burton, along with staff members, and I attended the Salute to Public Safety, and our chief brought our honorees this evening for the public to acknowledge, which was really nice. Chino Hills Sheriff's Department, California Institute for Women, and the California Institute for Men also attended the Salute to Public Safety and with their honorees. Later that day, I attended a meeting with President and CEO John Chapman, along with Heather Raymond, who was here this evening to provide us with a presentation regarding San Antonio Community Hospital. We met with them, City Manager Reich, Assistant City Manager Melendez, and myself met with Mr. Chapman and Ms. Redmond to discuss their interest in the city of Chino. You saw their presentation on some new facilities that they're interested in opening, and they're very interested in looking at Chino. Friday, March 21st, I attended Michelle Plaw's funeral service. He's the gentleman we honored last council meeting. We adjourned in his memory. I also attended the Omnitrans Board of Directors workshop. Monday, March 24th, I did my portion of the filming for the State of the City video. Saturday, Mayor Pro Tem Burton and I attended the Rancho Park grand opening. That was really well attended. That is the nicest park. Drove by later that day, and the parking lot was full to overflowing, and across the street, people are playing pickleball now in the city of Chino. They're very happy. That park is going to be really well used. We desperately need more parking. Then Sunday was Kurt Burton's birthday, so happy birthday, Kurt.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then today I had my one-on-one meeting with City Manager Reich and some staff members, and then we had a closed session prior to our council meeting. Mayor Pro Tem Burton.
Thank you, Mayor. On the 19th, I attended the Animal Resource Center of the Inland Empire briefing with the Executive Director, Clint Thacker. On the 20th, I attended the Water Facilities Authority Board meeting. After that, I attended also the Salute to Public Safety. On the 26th, I attended the IEUA rate study meeting with IEUA staff and also our staff to discuss proposed rate increases. On the 27th, I attended the Water Master Board meeting up in Rancho Cucamonga. Then I drove back down to the city and attended the State of the City interview videos that we're preparing for. And then after that, I attended the Chino Basin Desalter Authority Finance Committee meeting. On the 29th, along with the mayor and Congresswoman Torres, Senator Rubio, and San Bernardino County Supervisor Kurt Hagman, as well as many of our staff, I attended the grand opening of Rancho Park. And I have mentioned this before, but you think about a park and you think about some big, vast, open space that children are running through, and people are just getting involved in different things, and just a big green area. This park is not like that, but this is more of an attraction park. As the mayor had mentioned, we have brought pickleball, but not only pickleball, but there is an incredible play area for our kids, as well as exercise equipment for some of those folks that are a little bit older, like myself, that are really going to benefit us. I just had a birthday, so I can say that. And I do say a little bit older. However, it's just a great park. If you've not visited Rancho Park yet, it's right up on the southeast corner of Central and Phillips. I encourage you all to get up there and take a look at it. It's wonderful. Just a great park.
It's also inclusive. Wheelchairs.
Yes, it is. It's outstanding. So go up and visit. On the 31st, my one-on-one with the city manager. And then today, I attended closed session before the city council meeting, which brings us to today. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Councilmember Comstock, and you have item number 10.
Thank you, Mayor. On April 20th, I attended the Inland Empire Cal Cities meeting hosted at El Prado Golf Course. It was an informative meeting about the state of development. Had a couple of our local developers there from Tri-Point, Lewis, from the BIA, and just a robust discussion about the state of housing and some different things that cities can do to help cohesively, bring some housing to the local area, while doing our best to reduce costs to the consumer at the end. So that was actually a very good meeting. On April 24th, I attended my one-on-one with the city staff. I also believe that's the day that I did my State of the City filming as well. And then later that night, the Community Services Commission meeting here in this council chambers. I'd like to congratulate the Chino Police Department and the chief on his employee, volunteer, and professional staff member of the year. Those are actually great awards to earn, and it was nice to have those staff members in tonight, Chief, so thank you. Chief, I thought maybe it would be also appropriate, since we talked about autism tonight, maybe you could make mention of the autism patch that the Chino Police Department has published during your comments. I know Maureen just left, but I wanted to thank Maureen for her comments about the ARC. And Mary, your comments are correct. This is something new, and I know that we will work through all those items that Maureen is being diligent about and bringing to our attention. But I'm confident that our ARC will have veterinary services, provided to it. I wasn't able to attend. I like going to park openings. I'm a park goer myself. In fact, I can be found in parks a couple times during the month, either with my niece and nephew. My most recent visit was down to Olympic Park to hit a little bit of tennis. So I was sad to miss the Rancho Park. I was actually at a family funeral in Glendale, Forest Lawn, Glendale that morning, so I had to miss it. Last thing I'd like to talk about tonight, Mayor, and I wasn't able to get information for you in such short notice, but is the passing of Judge Raymond Youngquist. He served on the Chino Superior Court bench here for many, many years. Myself and several Chino police officers appeared before him. I appeared before him for warrants, for a testimony, for trial. Raymond was a great community member. He and his wife, Alice is obviously mourning his loss right now. Alice is a former member of my Seroptimus Club, so my thoughts and prayers due tonight and will continue to go out to the Youngquist family. He's from a law enforcement family, has children that are, grown adult, children who are members of law enforcement, And Ray was just, left a huge impact on this community, Mayor. And I will do my best to perhaps get you some biography information about the judge, Mayor. Maybe we can adjourn him at a future meeting.
Yeah, would like to do that.
Thank you.
And then you have item number 10, Karen, which is the Community Support Fund.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have item number 10. I'll just read the staff report real quick. I would humbly ask the council to approve a community support fund contribution of $250 to Boy Scout Troop 201, $500 to Chino American Little League, $250 to Chino Boxing Club, $500 to Chino Girls Fast Pitch Softball, $250 to the Chino Neighborhood House, $250 to Chino Police Officers Foundation for the Run for Russ 5K walk, $250 to the Chino Police Explorer Post, and $250 to Pop Warner, $250 to Isaiah's Rock, $250 to Chino Kiwanis for the Kiwanis Corn Feed Run, and of course $250 to the You Choose Positive Youth Program. These are all exceptional programs in our community, some which I was the benefactor of as a young person, and I ask the council to approve this community support fund request tonight, Mayor.
Okay, with that, we need a motion and a second to approve item number 10. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Burton and second from Councilperson Comstock. Please vote. Item passes 4 yes with 1 absent.
Thank you, Mayor. That concludes my report tonight.
Okay, Councilmember Flores is not here this evening, so Councilmember Lucio.
Yes, on the 22nd, I attended the Ball and Brunch at the Preserve. Unfortunately, I attended really, really early at the beginning, and I guess it doesn't really get started till the afternoon. But so I missed the big crowds, but I had to go. My daughter's getting married in July, so I had to go to look at some of the, I guess, the wedding venue and where the rehearsal dinner is going to be. So I couldn't stay for the afternoon. I still have problems saying that she's getting married. But,
I think that shows.
Yeah, on the 24th, I did my State of the City interview. On the 31st, I attended an Infrastructure Streets Committee policy meeting. On the first, a meeting with the city manager, and then closed session. I also want to tell the chief, congratulations on your award winners. It's great to have them come up here because I think it gives the community the opportunity to see who they are and what they're doing in the community. I also didn't get a chance to attend the Chino Rancho Park grand opening, but I was there when we toured it for the state, when they looked at it to give us our certifications on it. And it's a beautiful park. And it really, from when we did the ground opening or the groundbreaking, when it was just a field with a tractor, to what it looks like now, it's just a complete transformation. It's beautiful. And I think it's a long time coming. Even people that live in Montclair on the Sphere were bugging me as to when the park was going to open. I also want to tell Kurt, happy birthday, Kurt.
Thank you.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, City Manager Reich.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start by just echoing what Councilmember Burton said. The Finance Department has worked really hard over the last 7-8 months as we were recruiting for a new director, and Nadine's picked up a lot of the slack, Sherry as well as Brittany, as we went through the audit, as we went through midterm, as we went through mid-year, and now working on our new budget for '25. So I just want to say thanks to them. We are a team here, and we work really hard, and they have worked really hard over the last few months. That's all I have.
City Attorney Galante.
No report. Thank you, Mayor.
Police Chief Menson.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. So first off, the Councilman Comstock brought it up. So we've developed a special autism patch, and I have a few of one there, with the goal of raising awareness and funds for Adrian's World, a local who was here a little bit ago at the beginning of the meeting. This initiative aims to raise awareness and support for individuals on the autism spectrum through the creation and sale of autism awareness patches. So what it did, our associations, the Chino Police Officer Association, the Chino Police Management Association, the CPPEA, Chino Police Professional Employees Association, and our foundation, they all donated money, purchased a large quantity of these patches, and they're selling them for $10 each as a fundraiser, with all of the money that is being raised going to Adrian's World. So these patches can be purchased at the front desk of the police department or the different special events that the police department will be hosting. And with one of those events being this Friday, it's our first annual Safe and Sound First Responder Safety Fair. So it's at 5:30 p.m. at the Chino Police Department. We partnered with the Fire Department and the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. And really what we're doing is strengthening emergency preparedness and awareness between first responders and individuals with special needs. And it's really just getting them familiar with the police cars, the fire trucks, the sirens, with people with special needs. So it's our first annual. We already have over 200 families that are registered for this event, so it should be a big turnout. So we got a busy weekend with this on Friday night, and then Chino Days on Saturday and Sunday. But yes, sir.
And also Baker to Vegas this weekend.
And Baker to Vegas is also
You can
going.
mention what that is.
This weekend. So it is. I don't have the number or the annual of how long this has been going on, but it is a challenge cup relay and very competitive. And we have a whole takes not only just the runners, it takes an entire support team that's going out. They'll be leaving Friday to go out to Las Vegas or go to Baker and then Las Vegas to compete in this relay race, iconic race. I'm not going out this year, but I did go out there last year and helped out as a support staff. So
You're not going to run?
no, Mayor, I think my running days are behind me. So I was a support staff. It just didn't work out scheduling wise for this one.
Are you going to drive again this year?
Yes, I am. Bertie and I are going to be there.
As he is the driver of the first section of the race. So thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for your continued support. And Councilman Comstock, I know, obviously, as a former runner of the final leg of Baker to Vegas. So thank you both for your support on that.
Yes, I'm sorry, Chief. I'm not going to be able to be there, but I'm hoping to pick back up next year. I haven't missed it in several years, so I already expressed my regrets to the team, but I know they're going to do a great job.
Absolutely. We've hired some really fast runners. These people are fast.
They're fast. Yeah.
And then just lastly, I want to just ask for the prayers and just our thoughts go out to Clarissa Cano's family. She was tragically murdered last Thursday at the intersection of Mountain and Walnut. It's a very sad story of an incident that occurred, a senseless killing of a suspect that was driving completely out of control, southbound on Mountain, the wrong side of the street, at a very high rate of speed, on parole for burglary, wanted for another burglary. Quite frankly, probably should not have been out and should still be in jail right now. And it's very tragic, obviously, being a member of our community, having siblings that go to our local schools. So I know our Police Officer Association is already in the process of reaching out to try to help the family along with the school district. So I just ask that family, keep that family in your prayers. We're gonna reach out. We've been in the process of reaching out to our state legislators to see these pursuits they're so dangerous. We saw Deputy Cuevas that was killed on March 17th, a result of a pursuit. We had a critical incident involving a pursuit a few weeks ago and the criminal history of these people is very significant. And the one Deputy Cuevas, again, there's another person that should not have been out on the streets when this happened. So that concludes my comments and be answered any questions if you have any.
No questions. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Director's report. Nothing this evening, Jen? Wow, okay. I see Fire Chief Williams isn't here. Well, you're on call.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Madam Mayor, council, staff, community members. The Chino Valley Fire District is pleased to report on our partnership in several upcoming community events and training programs in partnership with the Chino Police Department and the City of Chino. As part of our continued commitment to public safety and community engagement, the following highlights are presented for the Chino City Council tonight. CVFD will be participating in the Safe and Sound event on April 4th, hosted by the Chino Police Department. We will be there in presence with an engine for the individuals to take a look at and kind of see what it is that we do and how we do it, and hopefully ease their apprehension when they do see us coming. We will also be participating in Chino Days, both April 5th and 6th. We will have an engine company attend both days there as well. The Fire District recently completed a Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT team training program for our community members at our CVFD Training Center back on March 27th. On Sunday, March 30th, we did send one brush engine and personnel as part of a local strike team to the Owens Valley to assist with the Silver Fire state incident that's currently ongoing. And speaking to wildfire, our annual wildfire training, as we approach the upcoming wildland fire season, the CVFD will be conducting our annual training to ensure that our personnel are well prepared to respond to wildfires effectively. This training will include simulation exercises, equipment handling, tactical responses and strategies, and coordination with local agencies to enhance our firefighting capabilities in the wildland environment. Our personnel continually train to protect the safety of our residents and maintain our readiness to address any wildland fire threat. The Chino Valley Fire District remains dedicated to the safety of our community through active participation in local events, our rigorous training programs, and maintaining strong partnerships with Chino PD and the City of Chino. We appreciate the continued support and look forward to working together to enhance public safety together throughout the year. With that, that concludes my report, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, next council meeting, we will be adjourning in the memory of Judge Ray Youngquist. Many of us knew him for years and years. He was quite a character.
Yes, he was.
Good man. He and Alice were always together.
Quite a piano player, too.
Oh, I did not know that.
Played by ear. He just,
Really?
a natural.
Did not know that. Yeah, he was quite a gentleman and always dressed to the nines. With that, our next regular meeting will be held, or no, we're going to be having a study session on Tuesday, April 8th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. Our next regular meeting will be held on Tuesday, April 15th at 6 p.m. with closed session starting no earlier than 4 p.m. if needed. With that, we are adjourned.